Every shot you make is one less that I have to do.
You climb the mountain high.
Caitlin Clark is about to outdo the WNBA's ratings, blindfolded, because her long-awaited Dude Perfect collab just dropped. And yep, it's going viral fast. And the timing couldn't be more perfect for Caitlin's fans, and more brutal for her haters. Because while Caitlin is sidelined with an injury, the WNBA is free-falling, in attendance, in hype, in momentum. And this video? It's providing a masterclass in contrast. The views are already surging, and it's cementing what everyone knows, but the old guard and many in the media won't admit Caitlin Clark is the WNBA. And maybe they should have been more welcoming of her fans.
And that's the worst part of all this, is the new fans are sucking the life out of the WNBA right now. It's just the truth.
Because what happens while Caitlin is out could change everything for the WNBA and directly impact how players are paid for years to come. The implications are much bigger than they'd like to admit, and this Dude Perfect video, aside from being entertaining, is going to add a truckload of salt into the wound. Let's get into it and check out some of these insane shots. But first, like this video if you're excited to see Caitlin's trick shots, and hit subscribe for more Caitlin Clark updates. Dude Perfect isn't just a popular YouTube channel, they're sports YouTube royalty. They have over 18 billion views and more than 60 million subscribers. That's more followers than the NBA's YouTube channel. They're as mainstream as you can get, family-friendly, and absolutely dominant among younger sports fans. Exactly the kind of casual but potentially long-term audience the WNBA is desperate to attract. And Caitlin has a proven ability to bring them in. I mean, have you seen Fever games? They're family events filled with parents and kids. So when Caitlin Clark shows up in a Dude Perfect video, that's a gateway to millions of new fans who might have never thought about watching a WNBA game, but are willing to give it a try. And there's a huge difference between this and a Nike billboard or a State Farm commercial. This is long-form content. Dude Perfect does this exceptionally well. They're best in class, and here's why that matters. No matter how big the star, they treat them like friends. They laugh, they have fun. That, along with the crazy trick shots, is what makes the channel special. Their viewers are going to get to know Caitlin on a fun but personal level and build an emotional connection with her that a 30-second ad never could. So when Caitlin is out there doing stuff like this, she's growing the game more than any WNBA promotion ever could. And to get the sheer scale of this, just look at the past NBA collabs. Caitlin drew 1.3 million viewers for an exhibition game. She's outranking top NBA stars in jersey sales. Her 2025 regular season games are setting records. I'll get to those juicy numbers in a moment. So yeah, if the haters think this won't be massive, they're in for a rude awakening. Because this is exactly the kind of mainstream culture crossover content that cements Caitlin Clark's superstardom.
Out of women's basketball, for a horrible team when she arrived, outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close.
At this point, Caitlin Clark is widely considered the most popular athlete in America. And this Dude Perfect video will likely get tens of millions of views easily. Because it's not just brand new fans getting their first real look at Caitlin Clark, it's loyal Caitlin Clark fans watching on repeat. Where she goes, they follow.
Next on the team, Caitlin Clark.
When Caitlin Clark played at the Annika Pro-Am, ticket sales didn't just rise, they exploded. We're talking 12 times higher than normal. Every time she shows up somewhere, the WNBA gets free promotion and millions of new eyeballs. The Dude Perfect collab is the same thing, but on steroids. And it's happening at the perfect time. Well, at least if you're a Caitlin Clark fan. Because for the haters, this is going to be disastrous, because it will amplify their huge miscalculation that's being exposed in real time.
So this is being reported like wildfire, and it has just broken that Caitlin Clark is out with a left quad strain.
Caitlin Clark, as you know, is out with a quad strain. Normally a star missing a few games wouldn't be a big deal. And to be fair, she's already out there casually dropping threes in practice, so she's clearly on the mend. Nothing to really worry about. But the league? Yeah, the WNBA is feeling it. Hard.
I can personally confirm the pronounced change in interest in Fever games without Clark. A week ago, I bought 4 tickets on StubHub to take my sports-playing nieces to the Fever Mystics game in Baltimore. The tickets in the same row are now less than half of what I paid.
Ticket prices immediately plunged for Fever games the moment Caitlin was ruled out, including their rematch against the Sky. It was a clear, undeniable signal. Fans aren't showing up for the logo, the team, or the league. They're showing up for her.
The ticket prices have fallen more than 300% in less than 2 days.
Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, from $86 48 hours ago to $25. And by the time June 7th rolls around, it might cost you a bag of Skittles and some Lay's potato chips to get in there.
These were tickets that were selling for hundreds of dollars because of Caitlin. The Sky even moved the game to an NBA arena just to accommodate the demand she created. And now, with her out, prices tanked. It's a massive red flag. Because last year, Caitlin Clark alone drove the WNBA's attendance boom. And without her, that momentum disappears just as fast as it came.
319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records.
And it gets worse for the league, because it's not just the box office taking a hit. Now they've got a full-blown ratings crisis on their hands.
The Storm vs. Wings gave you 339,000. The most watched WNBA game on NBA TV that did not involve Clark or the Indiana Fever. 339,000. WNBA hasn't seen any growth when it comes to the non-Caitlin Clark games.
Games not featuring Caitlin Clark continue to draw modest, or what some would call disappointing, viewership numbers. Meanwhile, Caitlin's games are doing this.
It is the highest peak.
And this contrast is not just a short-term blip for the WNBA. This contrast, even if just for 2 or 3 weeks, is going to change everything for WNBA players.
The players can't sit down at a collective bargaining table and say, we demand more because you're not giving us enough money. Because if Caitlin Clark is the only driver of your business, guess what? Not sustainable. Not CBA change-worthy.
They opted out of the CBA so they could negotiate a better deal. And obviously, they wanted to take full advantage of the Caitlin Clark effect. The ratings surge, the packed arenas, the sponsorship money pouring in. But when they spoke publicly about it, there was a certain bravado.
If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sit out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of conversation here lately about a potential walkout. What are your thoughts on that?
And it's something that we're talking about internally, like, to, be prepared for. Of course, no one wants that situation to happen, but I do feel like there's some topics that we have in mind that, we have to stand strong in what we believe in too. We have to stand up for what we feel is right and what we feel we deserve. And so while we don't want that situation to happen, of course, I think we're prepared for any possibility right now.
This was earlier this year. The players were riding high. Caitlin Clark had skyrocketed every growth metric, and they thought the leverage was finally theirs. They were ready to play hardball. Demand better pay, more benefits, the works. It's like they and their fans thought Caitlin was just the natural extension of what had already been happening.
People know. Look at this lie. This Asia Wilson fan, look at this. This is just a blatant lie. Quote, he isn't lying. Literally look up ratings just the last few years, record ratings. The ratings were putrid. 450,000 people were tuning in for your 3-time MVP, Asia Wilson.
But Caitlin's injury changed everything. That leverage, or the perception of it, is quickly evaporating.
All the owners have to do is say, what if she gets injured again? It's like, we are not committing to this because she can get injured again. And if she gets injured again, it's over.
You see, Caitlin's not just a needle mover, she is the needle. And now that her estimated value to the WNBA has been revealed, it's going to be even harder to strong-arm owners into sky-high pay and perks.
Caitlin Clark could have billions of dollars of worth to the WNBA as the star power reaches unforeseen levels.
The same economist who revealed Caitlin Clark drove over a quarter of the WNBA's total economic activity in 2024 just released his 2025 projection. Ryan Brewer, a respected sports valuation expert, now believes Clark's total impact on the league could top $1 billion this year alone. One athlete, one season, $1 billion difference. And there's no mincing words here. It's 100% her. So let's bring this back to Dude Perfect.
Okay, Caitlin, come on. That'll work.
Caitlin's out. Ratings are dipping, ticket sales are falling off a cliff. Fans are reportedly canceling trips to Indy because Caitlin Clark won't be playing. And all of this comes right after an investigation that, whether intended or not, painted Indiana fans in a negative light for over a week, despite no evidence being found. And now, while casual fans are tuning out, tens of millions are about to watch Caitlin Clark on Dude Perfect, racking up views the WNBA could only dream of. It's just more contrast. More proof that Caitlin isn't just the league's biggest star, she's the only one moving the needle. And now, the owners have all the leverage.
But if it goes back to worst non-Caitlin Clark numbers, and the worst thing would be if the Indiana Fever ends up being one of the lower viewed teams in the WNBA, that would be even worse. Then the WNBA owners can literally come out and just say to the players that if everything they show with growth, and they can just say, like, we had this growth, look at our average numbers. They were like, nope, we are not taking the average numbers. We are discounting Caitlin Clark games.
There's no coming back from this. The players have no leg to stand on. 4 to 6 games without Caitlin is all the sample size owners need to push back on any outrageous demands. And if you don't think they'll use that leverage, just look at what they've already done. These are the same owners who only moved their games against the Fever to NBA arenas. Not for any other team. Just Caitlin. The boldest move was from the Chicago Sky. They didn't move one, they moved 2 games to the United Center, even though it sent a loud and clear message to the sports world that Angel Reese isn't the draw she claimed to be. This league runs on entertainment. The networks know it. That's why they ordered 41 of 44 Fever games for national broadcast. But the old guard? They still don't seem to get it. Or worse, they refuse to accept it.
She's packing now larger arenas. She's taking and making shots nobody's ever done in the history of the sport. She is Steph Curry. I mean, there's a reason the NBA puts Steph Curry on Christmas.
And that brings us to the inevitable blame. But don't expect any self-reflection from the league, the players, or the media. They won't be looking in the mirror. They'll be looking at you.
And there's these people who are fans of indie bands, international soccer, and the WNBA. They have this gatekeeping mentality. We'll tell you who's great.
While Caitlin Clark fans are watching fun viral clips of their favorite player and racking up tens of millions of views, instead of tuning into a WNBA game, you know what's coming next. They're going to get blamed. It'll be the same tired narrative we've heard over and over again. The new fans aren't real basketball fans. They're not WNBA fans. They only care about one player. And here's the thing. To a degree, they're right. These are Caitlin Clark fans first.
Quote, once I found out Caitlin wasn't playing, it didn't make sense for us to fly to Indianapolis. Of course not. Kopecky said in a phone interview, we are Caitlin fans before Fever fans. She's the biggest draw. That's who the girls want to see.
But here's the thing. That's exactly how a league grows. That's how the NBA exploded in the 80s and 90s, on the backs of individual stars. People didn't fall in love with the league first. They fell in love with Magic, with Bird, with MJ. You build around the stars, and the fans follow. And the players in today's WNBA, a lot of them have been incredibly short-sighted. Instead of recognizing that Caitlin Clark is the rising tide lifting all boats, they've treated her like a threat, like competition. But competing with your own league's biggest draw and worse tearing down her fans, that's not a flex. That's a failure of vision.
The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did. Over the years that followed, it didn't stop the Vince Carters of the world, the Allen Iversons of the world, the Shaq Diesel, Shaquille O'Neals of the world, the Hakeem Olajuwons of the world, the Charles Barkleys of the world.
The job shouldn't be to tear down fans. It should be to welcome them. Make them feel part of something new and exciting. Show them what the league is all about. Put on a show. Make it entertaining. Make it emotional. Make it unmissable.
Step back triple.
The league, in fighting the fans, made a massive miscalculation. And now, they're paying the price. Instead of embracing the wave of new energy, they treated it with suspicion. Instead of welcoming Caitlin's fans, they tolerated them at best and antagonized them at worst. And when that hate speech investigation ended with nothing, the league didn't apologize. They let the cloud hang over Indiana fans, over Caitlin Clark, and over the exact group that's driving their growth. Stack that on top of the months of negativity, the jealous quotes, the targeted media spin, and now Caitlin's absence. And you've got the perfect storm. But if you're waiting for the haters to learn from this, don't hold your breath. My gut says they'll keep doubling down, keep blaming the fans who are literally putting food on the table with their time, attention, and money. The saddest part? Everyone outside the WNBA can see it. Speaking of cultural moments, this is an opposing team from another country treating Caitlin Clark like she's Michael Jordan. They didn't boo, they didn't throw shade. They mobbed her because they recognize what she is, an international superstar. The players? Respectful. The coach? Complimentary. They showed love, admiration, and gave her the kind of recognition she doesn't always get in the WNBA. And honestly, that moment said everything. It proved that the respect is there, just not always from the people who should be leading the charge.
It's how this Brazilian national team that played the Fever, it's the way they received her, the way they celebrated her. It's quite a contrast that these women of color from Brazil and their coach had, as opposed to the American players and American women of color and how they treat Caitlin Clark.
After every cultural moment, the league has had a chance to fully embrace Caitlin Clark as the generational star she is. The Dude Perfect collab is another one of those moments. Another moment that could be amplified league-wide. And who knows, maybe they'll post it on their socials. That would be the obvious thing to do, but the damage is done. With Caitlin injured and buzz fading fast, this video is going to be pure joy for her fans, and salt in the wound for her critics. She's doing everything she can to grow a league that just doesn't seem ready to embrace her. And now it's about to bite them hard, because the most watched WNBA moment of June won't be a WNBA game. Before you go and watch the Dude Perfect video, drop a GOAT in the comments to let me know you made it to the end. You're the real MVP. See you next time.